youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. Are you ready to connect?
Good morning. Some are yet to do so. But anyway, whether you have what you desire for the period or not, find a way to stay happy. All right? Well, over the next 2 hours, we'll be focusing on issues in Nigeria, the northern region, angry, regrets voting for Tinubu, ready to oppose him in 2027 election. Chukuma is also in the building. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Oh, well, good morning, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. Oh, as we use our bifocal lenses to look at Nigeria, 2027, Moses has announced it. What the North is saying. Let's also use it to look at what is happening in the immediate. As the federal government says that it has achieved significant breakthrough in terrorism campaign by securing 20 to 70 years jail terms for over 200 suspects. In addition, the Chief of Defense Staff.
Good morning, Lagos. I told Chukuma not to call me that, but fine. He also wanted to show me he can do it. I have to forgive you because it's just 9 days to Christmas. Moses asked earlier.
How many days it is?
Just 9 days. 9 days to Christmas. So I've done your Christmas for you by forgiving you when I call the Fifi name.
Thank you.
And those are the topic of conversation this morning. But before we go into the issues, please click on the subscribe button. Yes, on YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV. And on all that social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Do also visit our website. It's on www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news stories. You can also call the phone numbers that you screen for active participation during the course of the program. Is Simon Ekpa going to be Is Simon Ekpa going to be is it going to be rendition back to Nigeria? We don't know, but that's a question on so many person's mind. People are saying he should come back to Nigeria to face the wrath of the law over the fact that he has been instigating more like violence in the southeastern part of the country. Chuma, what do you make of this, given the fact that Ima Powerful have said, don't associate Ekpa with IPOB and all that?
Well, Fina, a lot is happening in the southeast beyond the. This is not the first time Ima Powerful has consistently said that. Look, Simon Ekpa is a renegade. He's not a member of the IPOB, and more like Simon Ekpa himself during his trial in Finland said he dissociated himself from IPOB. He even said that, look, I'm not the Prime Minister of the Biafra government in exile. He said something like it was just a scheme, and all of that. But significantly, I have been wondering, and a lot of people wonder, so for a while now, there's a toll in the tension in the southeast, and people are beginning to ask questions. Is it because of the arrest of Simon Ekpa, or is it the fact that IPOB has also come out to say, look, we are now up and doing, and we want to tell the people, the Igbo people from the southeast, to come back home for the youth that nothing is going to happen, that IPOB in conjunction with ESN is well able and capable, to protect the people that travel home for this Xmas. So it's some kind of trying to understand what actually is going on. It's difficult to say until maybe it becomes sustainable to the extent that we don't have the kind of violence that we used to have in the southeast in the past 1 or 2 years or thereabout. But I think significantly, another issue that has to be dealt with is the continuous sit at home on Mondays. The person at the center of the drama, Nnamdi Kanu, has come out to say, look, don't sit at home because of me. If you want to do it, please do it on the day I'm appearing in court. And he has consistently said the order to stay at home on Mondays doesn't come from me. So let's see. We expect that it will be resolved between IPOB, ESN, and the government in power, both in the southeast and at the federal level, that this issue is arrested so that the southeast can move on. Moses?
Oh, yes. We have waited long for this, and it's a good thing that Ima Powerful, representing IPOB, has constantly and consistently dissociated IPOB from the activities of Simon Ekpa, that's a good thing. I think that will continually send a message. You know, you did say it's not the first time he's doing so. I think he has to do that continually until the tension in the southeast is completely doused. But yes, we do hope that this will put in the course of time there will be a stop to the violence in the southeast. We do hope that that will happen in the course of time, and of course the release of Nnamdi Kanu. That's what a lot of Nigerians, concerned Nigerians, especially Southeasterners, are clamoring for. Right? If you don't have reasons to keep the man held down, then let him go. Let him go. Oh well, let's move away from Simon Ekpa. To be honest, I mean, we've spoken about. I honestly hate to talk about Simon Ekpa because the more we talk about him, the more we give credence to what he stands for.
Yeah.
Ima Powerful is saying that, look, let the media not even talk about him. Let's not talk about him anymore. But we will keep you informed of happenings going on. Well, let's move away from that one.
Before we do that,
Okay.
it's also important to let the Southeasterners know that their governors, I'm talking about the 5 Southeastern governors, have come up to say that the Southeast is a safe place. For those who are running away from it, that they should come back, especially at this period, for them to, understand that the peace is, has returned to that region.
It's not enough. It's not enough to say the Southeast is a safe place. Let's see that being put to action. Let's see that people are safe. Those that will come back, because I know a lot of people are coming back, regardless of how expensive flights are and how things are. A lot of people are coming back. Yeah. Some will have to travel from wherever they are to the southeast. Let's see that they are protected. Let's see that they go there, they spend the Yuletide, and they leave, without negative stories. Exactly. Then we will believe that, yes, efforts are being put in place to ensure that security is restored.
Talking about positive stories, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is hosting 11 out of his counterparts at the 66th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of States and Government of the Economic Community of West African States. And that's happened to be, I think they were there yesterday. 12 presidents have arrived in Nigeria for this wonderful session. And then they also have so many things to talk about in this regarding to, their meeting. They talked about how by 2025, whether Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, can leave ECOWAS. But some people are saying, I think it's high time that we sit back and know what really caused, I'm talking about their exit. Some are saying that they need to walk around it to make sure that the people who are exiting, are being called back and, put things in place. And also, it's interesting also to know that I saw it yesterday, in one of the national dailies that this is the time Nigerian government pays off the money. They're supposed to remit to ECOWAS after 19 years of thereabouts. And one want to ask, what is really happening? Is it that this time around, the new head of ECOWAS is having the ideology, the reason for the creation of ECOWAS initially at mind, to push it further? Because we could recall that when Mali and Niger said they are leaving, they made mention of ECOWAS not living up to what led to their, organization or
protecting the interests.
Exactly. But now that we're seeing Tinubu walking in that direction, who knows if they're going to come back? I hope they return to the bloc.
Well, about returning, these are military juntas. I don't see the bloc itself accommodating them, but their withdrawal has been approved, so they are free to leave. But then they're still trying to woo them back, asking them to consider, what leaving ECOWAS might cause them. But these juntas, Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali-led governments, they seem stuck to their guns.
Well, talking about their exit, I'm not sure it's a strange thing that happens, because we also saw Brexit leave the EU.
Of course.
So if for any reason that you are no longer comfortable in a union, the appropriate thing to do is to exit. Well, it's very interesting to realize that our president, for the first time in 19 years, has cleared Nigeria's debt, amounting to $85 billion and Naira and $54 million. That's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge, considering what we are passing through as a people. Yeah. But on the other hand, on the flip side, it's also good to understand what the president is trying to achieve. by 2025, ECOWAS will be 50. And the governing mission has clearly not been met. It started out as an economic commission, in view of economy. But over time, because of the crisis that riddled the West African region, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and all of that, it more like transformed into a military, with military as its core mandate. Now that there seems to be some kind of peace with the exit of the three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, the best thing to do now is to begin to put together the idea of integration, because it's still strange that of the 15 member countries, our cumulative trade relations between all of us is not even up to half of what we do with one country in Europe. So what accounts for that? Because when the protocol on free movement of goods and persons, it's been difficult for us to implement. We are talking about the ECO, that's the common currency. Yeah. How easy would that be for us, considering that the currencies, the French franc, is tied directly with the currencies of the Francophone-speaking countries. This is what this present commission, under the headship of, I've forgotten his name, and the government and summit, headed by President Bola Tinubu, should work assiduously and consistently to ensure that, look, the core mandate, the governing mission of ECOWAS, when it was formed in 1975, is realized. We can't continue in that.
Do you think we're going to have that eco currency being used by this bloc ECOWAS? Do you think it's going to get to that point we're going to have that? Because that's one of the things that people are clamoring for. Let us go. Let us have a common currency that can, help our economic standard in a way, in a significant way, so that we'll be able to balance the reason for creating all.
Fina, it's something. It's a work in progress. It will definitely happen with time. But the first thing towards that is to integrate the economies. If you don't integrate the economies, the eco currency won't work. If you don't integrate the economies and you put it in place, it's going to cause more problems for the economic community. So the appropriate thing to do is more like the building block is to integrate the economies first, so that we can trade more with ourselves. But in trading more with ourselves, you also ask the question, how industrialized are these ECOWAS countries?
That's another question.
So it's a very tough call that, we need to start working with.
But anyway, moving away from the issue on ECOWAS and the summit, former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Saturday hosted former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso and former Cross River State Governor Donald Duke in Abeokuta, Ogun State. According to Kwankwaso, the discussion centered on significant national issues, including the future of politics and governance in Nigeria. And then some people have come up to say that this call is for the 2027 general election. Some are beginning to ask, what is happening? Why are we having Rabiu Kwankwaso of Kano State, former governor of Kano State, and Donald Duke, visiting Obasanjo? Is it that the talk or the call or the clamor for the merger for 2027 is going to happen? This happened to be what so many Nigerians are talking about. What happened? Because Kwankwaso did not tell us the reason for that. He just said it's pegged on future of politics and governance in Nigeria. Mo, do you think that this is more like a call for 2027 election? Are people getting ready for that election? Well,
apparently, politicians start getting ready right after an election.
Exactly.
They start getting ready, and a lot is happening. Nigerians should expect some sort of something different in 2027, because they are having talks. We've seen the pictures of Goodluck,
Jonathan,
yes, being brandished in the north. We've seen Peter Obi and Saraki and El Rufai. We've seen some of these people at certain times come together to talk, and we're wondering what exactly is going on. Well, the president is not. He's very much aware, and I'm pretty sure if antecedent is anything to go by, I don't think he can be taken unawares. So he probably knows what's going on, and he's also plotting his own twist to it. Well, let's see what happens in 2027. Now, the onus really falls on Nigerians. Nigerians should ensure that they come out in 2027 and cast their votes. We want to have faith in INEC. INEC has said it has discovered 124 or 25 new ways of conducting credible elections. We've talked about the not depending solely on your PVC, because a lot of people have had their PVCs stolen at some point, or maybe misplaced at some point, and they were unable to get it back, and because of that, they couldn't participate in some elections in the past. I, for one, my wallet was stolen at some point, and then my PVC was inside, my card was inside, and lots of other things. So when I went to the courts, did affidavit, I went back to get it. It was a problem. It was difficult. Till now, I don't have it, unfortunately. There are processes that I have to go through. You have to go to their office and all of that. I've gone online, checked. My data is still there. But if I can print that information, I think there's also a barcode there. If I can print that, I should be able to cast my vote, because that should stand as, an equivalent of the PVC. It's my information there. So a lot of people are like me in this boat, and they don't have it on hand, but they also want to be able to cast their votes. So let's see. And if that is done, Nigerians should come out en masse and cast their votes.
I think essentially that's one of the recommendations
Yes.
that INEC has made. But talking about 2027, I like the word that Pop and So used, future of politics, and Fina also used it, because that's the title of my book, Future of Politics.
Oh, yeah.
Nigeria Beyond this Republic. So it's more like I have this kind of nostalgic feeling when I hear that word, the future of politics. Now, that said, 2027 is brewing. People are regrouping. People are asking, what is Obasanjo cooking again this time? Because Koko and So and Donald Duke went to meet him, and they held discussions. Nobody knows yet what they discussed. But apart from that, there are also other meetings. Atiku, P2B, El-Rufai, Bukola Saraki, and a lot of people are moving. And there is this thing that we talk about, break the eight, that happened in Ghana.
Yeah.
And the fact that Trump had to bounce back for the 5th and 47th president of the United States of America. And people are trying to draw parallels between United States, Ghana, and is it going to happen in Nigeria in 2027? But Moses said something that is quite instructive. If you talk about the element of surprise, the current president is not someone that you can easily take by surprise. Mm-hmm. So what does 2027 hold for us? I like the way Moses ended it. 2027 is up for Nigerians to decide. Not anybody, but Nigerians to decide.
And that's how far we can go on looking at the trending issues that made it on our radar. Just the word to join us, because I will take a quick break, and we will come back moving straight down to looking at the cover page of the national dailies. Let's know the information the national dailies have for us this morning. We'll go on a quick break. Stay with us.
Are you ready to connect with distinguished Nigerians around the world? The Diaspora Perspective is here to share the views of Nigerians in the diaspora on burning issues.
From the street of New York, the royal cities of London, and the bustling cities of Europe, Voice of the People Television brings to you a roundtable and collage of interesting views from Nigerians in diaspora.
Join the host of the show and some Nigerians in diaspora, Dr. Damages, the flagship.
Welcome back to VOP this morning. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, talking about the national dailies, we have the Vanguard newspaper, the Daily Trust, the Blueprint, the Nations, the Daily Independent, the Nigerian Tribune, the Guardian. A whole lot of national dailies made it on our table this morning. And I would like to start off by looking at the cover page of the Vanguard newspaper. The banner headline on the cover page of Vanguard newspaper this morning reads, FG overshoots 2024 borrowing target by 4 trillion naira. Riders to that story, borrowing 49% above target on 11th month, may hit 67% at year end. Domestic borrowing hits 8.9 trillion naira. Analysts list impact on inflation. Others, more borrowing crowds out private sector. That is coming from experts. And then we have a major pictorial to be from ECOWAS head of state meeting in Abuja. We have a president and, other presidents also there. And we have, on top of that, on top of the masthead, the window headlines are 3 trillion naira spent on raw materials import in 2023, according to MAN, that's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. The story proper is on page 24 of the Vanguard newspaper. Terrorism. FG secure conviction of over 200 suspects. NSA. We have exported petrol to Cameroon, Ghana, Angola, South Africa. And that is coming from Dangote Refinery. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger have till July 2025 to return to ECOWAS. That is coming from the leaders. The writers to that story. Tinubu to ECOWAS leaders. Let's learn from Ghana's democratic example. Quite interesting. The story is on page 8 and page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper, respectively. Boat mishap claims 20 lives in Benue. Boat mishap claims 20 lives in Benue. NGE expresses concern over anti-media free speech laws. The story is on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. And on the sports segment, we have that's on page 31, 2024 CAF African Footballer of the Year. Ademola Lookman, the man the cap fits. Yeah, I have to call the name in full. Don't worry, they put Lookman, but you know, you never can tell. I have to call the name in full. And those are the stories we have on the cover page of the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, to the Daily Independence now. Tinubu asks ECOWAS to emulate Ghana's democratic practice. Nigeria clears 85 billion naira, $54 million ECOWAS levy, 19 years after. Regional bloc OK's exit of Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. Outlines conditions to accept countries back into fold. Serap sues Tinubu over Humanitarian Affairs Ministry's missing 57 billion naira. Nobody's saying anything about that one again. Good job, Serap. NGE expresses concern over a plethora of anti-media free speech laws. Inaugurates committee to engage AGF, NAS, Information Ministry. And then you go further, we have 20 feared dead in boat mishap on Benue River. NAFDAC denies approving long detox tea promoting smoking. FG secures convictions of over 200 terrorism suspects. Tinubu urges new IPI leadership to work with his administration. CBN looks helpless as cash scarcity bites harder. Experts lament. And then the bottom strip, Mosop rejects NNPC. Sahara Energy OML 11 deal. Well, these are the headlines that you will find on the cover page of the Daily Independent.
And up next is the Daily Trust newspaper with the banner headline. High expectations as 32 states budget 22 trillion naira for 2025. I'll check that again for emphasis. High expectations as 32 states budget 22 trillion naira for 2025. With the riders, appropriations upped by 31% from 2024's. Governors should prioritize capital expenditure, according to experts. Now, there's an infographic there. Daily Trust is more like looking like the other, and it says breakdown of 2025 states budget proposals with the Northwest 3.78 trillion, Northeast 2.38 trillion, North Central 3.18 trillion, Southwest 6.15 trillion, Southeast 2.72 trillion, and South-South 3.68 trillion. Now, the window headlines, 20 dead, 11 rescued in Benue boat accident. Politics, economy in focus as Obasanjo meets Kwakwanso Duke. Over 200 terror suspects back death sentence, life imprisonment. Now, there's another major headline there, bold headline. ECOWAS OK's Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso exit. Tinubu pays 85 billion naira, $54 million levy. And the other stories there. Why there's acute malnutrition in Northeast, Northwest? That's according to the federal government. Nigeria exports 101.62 billion naira electricity in 9 months. And Kaduna reopens market after 10-year closure, urges peace. And that's all from the Daily Trust newspaper.
Well, that's pretty much all we can take at this moment. Join us again at 9 o'clock when we'll go in depth into the headlines from the dailies. Now, let's get into the conversation proper. Northern Region says they regret voting for the president and are ready to oppose him in 2027. And that's coming from the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. Oh, well. Let's x-ray this when we come back from this break. Join us again.
the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents,
Corruption kills three things and makes a society.
representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. About 2,000 years ago, in the humble town of Nazareth, a young woman named Mary. Are you ready to connect with distinguished Nigerians around the world? The Diaspora Perspective is here to share the views of Nigerians in the diaspora on burning issues.
From the street of New York, the royal cities of London, and the bustling cities of Europe, Voice of the People Television brings to you a roundtable and collage of interesting views from Nigerians in diaspora.
Join the host of the show and some Nigerians in diaspora, Dr. Damages, the flagship, show, and KJ, as they discuss the experiences, challenges, and triumphs of Nigerians living abroad.
Discussing and analyzing everything from politics, culture, policies, career success, and how Nigerians are staying connected to their roots. Showing every Saturday by 2 p.m. West African Time and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The Diaspora Perspective, giving a voice to Nigerians abroad.
Well, thanks for joining us again. Now, let's get into it. The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, AYCF, has expressed regret over the Northern region's support for President Bola Tinubu in 2023. While AYCF President Alhaji Shatima Yerima stated that the North is prepared to oppose Tinubu's re-election in 2027 if the current situation does not improve. Emphasis on the word if. Yerima highlighted the dissatisfaction with Tinubu's administration, citing unmet expectations regarding insecurity and economic hardship. Yerima also emphasized the need for decentralizing the federal structure to boost state productivity and self-sufficiency. He noted that the northern region had high hopes for Tinubu, especially after the perceived failures of Muhammadu Buhari's administration, but is now disappointed with the lack of progress. Now, this statement coming from the president of Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, Yerima Shatima. Well, we have our guest in the studio. Let's welcome Barrister Darlington Agumo. Good morning to you, Barrister. Good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And we also have Mr. Akin Fatunke, who is a communication consultant. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Moses and the crew. Good morning, Nigerians.
We have joining us virtually Dr. Dayo Kayode, and we'll let you know. Okay, we'll let you know when he joins the conversation. Now, don't forget that you too can be part of the conversation. We have a number that's scrolling on your screen with which you can send WhatsApp messages. Now, do us the favor. If you want to react to stories we're sharing, you can make a 1-minute video of you reacting to the stories sent to us to the WhatsApp platform, and it will make part of the production for today. You can as well just type your reaction as a text, or better still, drop it under the streaming on YouTube. On YouTube, your Voice of the People TV, and on all the social media platforms. We are VOP TV Live. Now let's get to the conversation. Let me start off with Mr. Fatunke. This coming from the north. We've seen some moves in the northern parts of Nigeria by northern politicians that depict their disappointment or disapproval of the president's policies. And is this a way to box the president into a corner, into doing their bidding, or should the president consider this a serious threat from the northern elite not to support his re-election in 2027? Since there's the word, if things do not change.
Moses, thank you. And for me, in the seat of the president, I would not be worried.
You would not be worried?
Why would I be worried? It's either I am convinced I'm trying to restructure Nigeria and it's being resisted, and if they say the voice of the people is the voice of God, so that's what the people want. You also made a point, which is very poignant here, that pockets of resistance have been coming from not just the north, virtually all parts of the country. One of them, of course, is the tax reforms that is supposed to put more money in the pockets of the Oloi. I think the Oloi, according to those who, if you like, rule them, not lead, say no, that's not the way to go, and they embrace it. Why not? It's the way of politics and politicians. I also believe very strongly that as we move towards 2027, more of these stringent calls will come. Mr. President himself has clearly said that is there, and if people believe very strongly that he's not capable of doing their biddings through democratic means, he can and should be removed. He has also made an allusion to what happened in Ghana. Ghana is showing the light, so why will we not follow? Finally, alleged. So I am not aware. Yes, speculation is that Mr. President is going to be going for a second term by, mass lot of people. I have not heard categorically that he says that's what he's going to do. But let's make this assumption that is going to come. Within democratic tenets of the peoples of Nigeria, collectively to decide if they are going to want to vote for him or not. The latest, of course, I've just talked about the tax reforms, depending on what side you stay, is also the local government reforms, which the governors are resisting, clearly against the rulings of the Supreme Court. And then the people say, no, that's exactly what we don't want. Vox populi, vox Dei.
Right.
So those would be my
opening thoughts. All right then. Now, Barrister Darlington, let's get you into the conversation. This conversation now. We do understand that Ghana's election just was just held some weeks, some days back, and Nigerians seem to have learned a few things from it. And Nigerians have been talking about break the 8. All right, that's a phrase in Ghana where no administration had stayed beyond 8 years. Now, the ruling party felt they could break that.
No party,
I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
No party had stayed in power longer than 8 years. The ruling party, now, they've been shoved out, thought they could break that, all right, by ensuring that they win re-election. But unfortunately, they couldn't break the 8, as Ghanaians insisted that, look, we give you 8 years, you're done. If you don't do well, we take you out. I will try someone else. Do you think Nigeria might toe that line? Should we be thinking about breaking the 16 this time around because the PDP spent 16 years? APC seems to be gunning for 16 years?
If you look at what is coming, if you look at what is coming from the north, I think in 2027, The only region that will elect Tinubu is the Southwest. Because from the look of things, Tinubu is now the president of the Yorubas. It's as simple as that. Let nobody.
What if something changes?
Like what is going to change?
What AYCF is saying, like, if things stay the same.
Hold on. He's not even trying to change. It's getting worse.
So you don't think that the remaining 2 years will be favorable to Nigeria?
He is not going to change because this thing is in the DNA of somebody. DNA. If you say you are reforming...
What thing are we talking about?
You see this tribal sentiment. When it is in somebody's DNA, there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing.
Was it different?
For somebody, hold on, Mr. Moses, listen. For somebody who said he wants to reform Nigeria, do you reform Nigeria by tribal sentiment, for God's sake? Please, somebody should answer me. Is it how to reform Nigeria that all the appointments are all for the Yorubas?
Barrister, was it any different when Buhari was
Moses, Buhari is gone. We are talking of now. Okay, must we follow everything Buhari did?
No, my point here is this, Barrister.
No, must we follow everything
Barrister,
Buhari did?
my point here is this. With the North feeling aggrieved, do they have a right to feel aggrieved? Because their own kinsman, Buhari, was in power at some point. And he made sure he elected more people from the northern part of Nigeria. I mean, he appointed more people from the northern part of Nigeria. Okay. Should they be feeling aggrieved?
Now, hold on. From your own mouth now, you are telling me now...
No, I'm asking the question,
No. From your own mouth now, tribalism has become a policy of state in Nigeria.
I didn't say that.
I
was just asking you the question. I was asking you the question.
Why are you telling me that Buhari is gone? We are talking of Tinubu now. That's what I'm telling you. He's the one in charge now. Why can't he reverse all the bad things Buhari did in office? Okay. So that when he talk of reform, I can now listen to him. Okay. That's what I'm saying here.
All right.
You cannot be telling me you are reforming Nigeria, but you are making things worse. There is no reform here now. You are just reforming your own private pockets.
So are you saying that the call by the president on ECOWAS to emulate Ghana's democratic
what are you emulating here? What are we emulating here?
Barrister, my question still is...
3 countries have left your region.
Barrister, you haven't answered my question exactly. My question is, should the North complain, saying that their own kinsman did the same thing? That's the question I'm asking.
Please.
Moses. Yes.
Are you supposed to be, if God wanted us to see our back, he would have put our eyes on our back. That's why he put it in front, so that you look front. Buhari is gone. Everybody lamented what Buhari did. Even Tinubu lamented what Buhari did. Must he continue from there? Is it not the tribalism that destroyed his government?
Okay.
And under our watch, under our very eyes, Tinubu is continuing in the same trajectory. And you are telling me, Buhari, did Buhari do well in office? Is it not this tribal statement that destroyed the government?
Okay, Barrister Darlington, let me stay with you. Now, the president says, I'm a reformist. We are looking at 2027. The president says, I'm a reformist. And he has dared to trade where others couldn't pass. First of all, he removed fuel subsidy. We are suffering now, but it looks like things are looking up in the future. 2 years, we are looking at what if things don't change? But then we also say, what if things change? Fuel subsidy was removed. The president is tinkering with local government autonomy. He's tinkering with tax reforms. State police is on the table, and 36 governors have assented to it, except the Federal Capital Territory. And we believe that within the week, something in that direction might happen. If you put all these things together, and things start looking better in 2027, and more like these reforms don't benefit any particular section. Let's leave away the sectional appointment, which everybody agrees with, except some people who don't see what is wrong in the president dumping all the strategic positions in the Southwest. But let's take away that one. Let's look at reforms. If all these things put together and Nigeria begins to do better by 2027, do you think that, rightly so, that the North should feel that the president has backtracked from looking at them or from favoring them? And what do you think will happen in 2027? Wouldn't Nigerians vote for the president?
If you do all your reforms and still the appointment did not go according to Section 2 of our constitution concerning a federal character principle. You have not done anything.
If Nigerians are feeding well, Nigerians are going to school, the hospitals are working, there's electricity, do you think that the average Nigerian will be interested where the Minister of Power is coming from? Or where the CBN governor is coming from?
Mr. Okoro,
no, I'm just asking.
No, when we get to the bridge, we now think of crossing it.
Barrister Darlington, we are dealing with what if scenarios.
No,
what if?
What can you say if now?
But Barrister, you said you don't mind if everybody come from the same family so far as this country is moving forward. You made mention of that last week on the table. So now you're also saying that if we got it right,
it means you have violated our constitution.
So you're saying that we have to depend on even distribution, even with those that are not going to do well.
Put that particular clause there, they are not stupid. They know why they keep, so that there will be inclusivity, so there will be sense of belonging. You cannot tell me that it's only the Southwest that know whatever. Okay, if only what they have been doing so far is resonating with the people, will anybody complain? But you can see that things are getting worse. From CBN, from Ministry of Finance, all over. You can see things go to the port. He's a custom man there, internal affairs. What are they doing? So this thing that if you are seeing if already in office up till now, what is turning upside down? Okay, you are talking of fuel subsidy they move. What are we benefiting from it? Is any poor man benefiting from the fuel subsidy? Mention one poor man who is benefiting from that fuel subsidy now. Please, can you give me one instance where somebody is benefiting from fuel subsidy now? You remember that even Libya that is at war, they are selling this fuel at 52 naira per liter. So why is your own difference? What's the benefit here? No, tell me, your oil industry, has it been sanitized?
Barrister Darlington, Dangote reduced price by 20 naira.
That's a private man, though.
No, but he's selling to Nigerians, he's selling to the public.
It's his private business.
I mean, what if that reduction continues over time? Port Harcourt refinery is on stream now.
Make reference with Port Harcourt refinery, I can listen to you.
Okay, Port Harcourt refinery is on stream now.
How much are they selling?
No, but doesn't Dangote sell to Nigerians?
If he's selling to it doesn't concern me. He's a private business.
No. We are talking about prices now.
Prices, yes.
It's dropping. It dropped from 990 to 970.
Let it get to 52 naira per liter. Somebody doing it in Libya.
If it gets to 52 naira per liter in 2027, okay, you will listen.
Yes, I will listen. Yes.
All right.
Yes, I'll now know that somebody doing something. After all, how much was it before they took over? How much?
All right, now, Mr. Akinfatinke, when the president of AYC, Shetima Yerima, was talking, he also did not leave out state governors from his words. He said that some state governors now should be blamed too for the fact that Nigerians are suffering. He went for that talk about how decentralizing the activities of the federal will make the state to look inward in making sure that they work very well. Now, if we're to bring this now in what is happening with some state governors saying that, some of the policies that the government is bringing in place shouldn't go there and all that, do you think that we're going to take away solely the blame that we're pointing out now to the governors, to the president? Won't we split it for it to get across? And if that should happen, what do you think will happen for 2027 for the general elections?
Clearly, Peter, some element of balance from Shetima, because that's the truth. And this function, always pointing at the center, it's not as if the center is all that angelic, but he has also mentioned that the state. So, he should also naturally mention that democracy is not working, basically because we are leaving out the local governments. So, what are the local governments doing? What are the state governors doing to allow the local governments to breathe? So, if we collectively look at it under the game of numbers, and our people are enlightened. I'm not talking about sectional way of thinking about things. We'll be able to get there. Truth remains that even at the federal level, I personally give kudos to a pragmatic, focused leader who came knowing fully well that he's a politician, that he might not be re-elected if he puts himself for re-election, but that Nigeria has to be properly, structured from the downhill that we are going. Those in my mind, even if the large majority are saying otherwise, takes my respect. That's why I give that respect to President Bola Tinubu. Do I therefore then think President Bola Tinubu is all done-dory? No. Of course, there will also be here and there, chief amongst which my dear brother is talking about, slanting things to the southwest. Yes, there is a point there. There is also a point, in my honest opinion, looking at it and then looking at consensus. Because when you say all these things, you now look at a place like Northeast, or you look at a place like Southeast, also clamoring for the fact that they need fairness, they need equity. I would rather want to go for such fairness and equity and make a kind of consensus, which I've always been talking about, and to try and bring the heartbeat of the Southeast into the picture. Okay. Now, I can also say, for sure, because this is about Arewa, I am aware that I have high-class, well-honed, fantastic technocrats from the Southeast. I've sat in class with them. They respect me as much as I respect them.
Is it really about the Arewa, Mr. Akin Fatinke? Because we can recall that a whole lot of other persons are also talking about the administration and how it's not being favorable to people.
One of the things that have happened, one that I respect so very much, I'm sure he will be listening to me, is from the Igbo stuff. Says he's not going to have to do anything with Bola Tinubu's administration. Why? I didn't know. I didn't fault it. Somebody gave him an appointment and he rejected it. So for me, the president needs to continue and continue. Now, if it comes to Arewa, so we are not going to say that the kind of slant that we had, say in the Southeast, say in the South-South, we have that same slant in the North? Certainly not. The North even have a livestock ministry. Even the northern leaders have not been able to do that. Take it or leave it. So, Arewa, they've spoken their mind. They have a right to speak their mind. And like Moses and Mr. Kuro has said, let's move towards 2027. If it's not fit to be elected, Nigerians collectively will come out.
Okay. But let's make it personal now, Mr. Akin. You're talking about 2027 and if it's not fit. Now, the people said if he did not change, the way the policies. Now, you personally look at the activities of this president's administration.
Yes.
From the time President Tinubu took office till this particular time.
Yes.
If you are to come out to vote personally, are you now still going to say that you want to vote this particular administration again, given the fact that the economic challenges we're having in the country is still there, the insecurity is still there, and a whole lot? Just personally, what will you do if you were to have the opportunity to say you want to, there's a ballot now going on and this administration come on radar, you want to make a vote. Are you going to stay with them?
It will not matter if I am taken to an emergency room. I'm not going to be asking the question, who done it, who hit me. We have more than emergency. We have a broken economy. We have an economy that is not going in the direction. We have got to take pain before pain. So your question to me is that who am I going to vote? I'm going to vote somebody that I think has a focus. I'm going to take somebody that I know has the capacity and the will to look at the problems squarely, tackle it with some kind of efficiency. Now, with some kind of efficiency, it is only going to be a perfect human being that can fit that bill. Okay. So that is the way I'm going to try and answer your question.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Fatuke. Talking about what Yerima is talking about, the spotlight going to the states, I think essentially why people focus more on the center is because the center deals clearly with macroeconomic policies, fiscal policies, interest rate, exchange rate, balance of payment. I mean, the state governors don't fix interest rates. They don't fix foreign exchange rates and all of that. Oh, well, that said, let's bring in our correspondent from Abuja, Mr. Chuka Chukudile. Good morning, Chuka.
Good morning, Mr. Chukuma. Good morning, VOP Lagos.
Yeah, good to see you, Chuka. Now, we are discussing 2027. 2027 is on the radar now. I mean, the North has come out to say, look, we are angry with the president because his policies are clearly not favoring the North. You are in Abuja. Can you walk us through the the feelings, the pulse of the people in Abuja? What's their reaction, concerning how the policies of this government have affected them or otherwise?
Very much. From the look of things, it seems like the Northerners are not really very happy with the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And from reports we've been getting over time, it seems like there's going to be they're going to want to go for maybe like a joker in 2027, because it's not like what they're getting, not such, what they're getting from this current administration. So it's not really a very likable situation in the federal capital. It's really up north here with this administration. Well, there's a lot of politicking that's beginning to happen. This last November into December, meetings have been going on. Lots of alliances and reconnections, like we saw what happened in Yola when Peter Obi went to honor Atiku at his university's convocation. We saw what happened over the weekend when former President Olusegun Obasanjo also hosted Kwakwaso and a couple of other people. So there's been a lot of alignment that is beginning to get formed ahead of 2027. It's an interesting, next couple of years. So we're just going to sit and watch and see what happens. But the general feel is that the North is not really happy with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his administration.
What goes on, what essentially is the problem with the North? What is the North asking for? What is it that they are missing presently? Something that they had before that they don't get now. Do you have an idea of what they are looking for? Is it in terms of appointment? Is it in terms of development? Or is it in terms of what? I mean, they have clearly kicked against the tax policy, the tax bill, reform bill that is on the floor of the National Assembly. What essentially do you think that the North is missing?
Former President Buhari. If you come to Abuja, during the 8 years of former President Buhari, when you come to Abuja, everybody we see in federal parastatals and ministries are all Northerners. You see them all in kaftans and they are Northern caps and sandals. But now when you go out and you go into the same ministries now, you see lots of people from the West. It's more of a so it's very apparent that the Northerners have been shifted. There's been a shift from what they used to enjoy just about a year or two ago and currently now. So I think it's that access to power that is not really, they feel they've lost out significantly. That's just how it seems. All
right, then. Thank you very much, Chuka. Thank you very much. Well, let's bring it back to the studio now. Barrister, now we saw in the news, we woke up to this news that the federal government has secured judgments for about 200 people convicted of terrorism. I beg your pardon?
No, go ahead.
But that's a second topic of conversation,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's not bring it up.
Sorry, I was going to... Anyway, let's...
I wanted to ask Barrister Darlington about the... People are regrouping, Over the weekend, it was Kwakwaso and Donald Duke pay former President Obasanjo a visit, And on the sidelines, nobody knows what they discussed. But a lot of people are meeting too. Peter Obi is meeting with Atiku. They're meeting with El-Rufai, Bukola Saraki, and a lot of other people. In the North, posters of former President Jonathan, everywhere in the North. And PDP says, no, we didn't even invite, we are not asking Jonathan, to come and run for the presidency in 2027. Do you see the possibility that these regroupings, have the capability to pull the rug off the feet of the current government in power? That's the APC and President Bola Tinubu, considering that, one, PDP is having a lot of problems, Labour Party, the same thing. So if they are not able to unite themselves, is it NNPP and who that will do the pulling of the rug?
The question we should be asking ourselves, who is APC regrouping with? From the look of things now, APC is on their own.
They are not on their own.
Hold on. The only APC
legislators on the platform of the PDP and Labour Party are all trooping to APC.
Those people are already in the party, or rather, they are already in government. We are talking of people outside the government And they are the ones who will pull the strings at the end of the day. Remember, these people that are now regrouping, yes, there is a reason why they are regrouping, because the policies of Tinubu is not about trying to reform. It's about the policy you are bringing to the table. How is it impacting on the life of the people? All the policy, we have not seen any of them through. All because whenever Tinubu wake up in the morning, he will just introduce one thing without thinking about it, without no coordination, without no...
I think it would be unfair to say that the president doesn't think about it before introducing the policies, because he has a lot of people that feed him with information. I think that's not accurate.
It is very accurate. Very, very accurate.
Those are your thoughts, but I don't think it should.
Ask me my reason. I will give it to you. Why is it that the fuel subsidy he removed from off the cuff, he later went back to it? True or false? Did he not? Is that a policy that he thought through? Look at the hardship that he brought to Nigerians. He had to go back to the same thing he said he removed. Is it true or false? Wait, the tax reform. Was it not when all of us shouted from the rooftop, except some people here that I know, who didn't see anything about the tax reform, that Tinubu had to say, okay, the National Assembly, what is it called again? The judiciary. Oh yeah, you people should go and look at the grey areas. Tinker with it.
At least he's a listening president.
Really, if this was...
Barrister,
yes?
we know that people did say, yes, withdraw the tax reform bill, and the president said, no, let it go through the judicial process. He did say, let it go through. And what we are seeing now, isn't it, the tax reform bills going through the judicial process?
It has gone through the second reading in the House until people raise eyebrow, like myself here.
Is that not the judicial
process? No, please. When something is it's not the judiciary here, please. It's not.
Is that
the thing
not
is already going into being passed into law. Why is it that it is the same judiciary that he now said that they should go and look at it, the Attorney General and other of his crony, they should go and look at the tax bill again? If it was properly thought through, if it were properly debated, if people were sensitized, would there be any hoopla about it? Answer me.
Is it not the sensitization?
It is not, because they're already going into law. They are almost passive before some people say no. Is that not what happened?
All right, but
and now you begin to think about it, begin to see the grey area that we shouted before, but you did not listen. The local government autonomy, we said it here that it will not fly, because the law, the constitution have not been amended. So why are we celebrating what is not there?
Barrister Darling, hold on to your line of thought. I would like to bring in our correspondent from Oka, Mr. Ndo Opareze. Good morning to you, Ndo.
Good morning.
Ndo, good to see you once again. How are you doing?
Thank you, I'm fine. I hope you're fine too.
We are discussing 2027, and the North is kicking. The North is saying, no, we want power back. If things don't change by 2027, we are going to take power back, through the legal means. Now, let me ask you, what is the reaction of the people in the Southeast about the effectiveness or otherwise of this government? How far has this government benefited the people of the Southeast, and what is their reaction looking at 2022, putting 2027 on the radar? What do you think, will likely happen if things continue in this direction concerning the Southeast in 2027?
Yes. The reaction from this end is not quite different from what is happening all over. You see, people are so much interested in what will bring food to their table. They want stable economy, they want stable polity, and they're also interested in a secure environment. For the Southeast here, the biggest thing they have against the present administration is insecurity. They would have wanted, in less than 2 years that he's been in office, they wanted to see something quite different from what obtained during the former President Buhari. They wanted to see a very secure place, but no, these things are not happening. And their biggest grouse, they felt that, the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu is what is, skyrocketing the issue of insecurity in the Southeast. they felt that now that the law has let him free, that there should have been a political solution whereby he should.
Ndu, hold on to your line of thought. Do the people of the Southeast feel strongly that the federal government is the cause of the insecurity in the Southeast? Because it looks like that's what you're insinuating. If you say that the people are not happy because of the insecurity, does it look to them like the federal government is responsible for the insecurity in the Southeast? Hello, Ndu, can you hear me?
Well, we seem to have lost audio quality there, unfortunately, and we do hope that we'll reestablish contact with our Orca studio so we can get to hear what he's saying. Okay, so now that we have reestablished contact, let's have you respond to the question. Ndu Okpaleze, please go ahead.
The feeling here is that it's generally the federal government is indirectly fueling the insecurity by the number of joint military personnel that they bring into the Southeast, trying to intimidate and harass the people, not allowing them to have a say or even limiting their movement. And when they make any kind of trying to assert their rights, issue of killings and bad blood, escalate. So they believe that one, and the one I said before, these are on one side, but on the economic side, apart from the feeling of insecurity, the people of the Southeast are majorly people are into business. They do a lot of buying and selling, and that with the issue of foreign exchange, the issue of fuel subsidy removal, these are policies that they feel that are not quite okay with, because it has not brought any meaningful or effective change in the affairs of people, in the day-to-day living.
All right. Thank you very much, Ndu Okpaleze. We'll come back to you in the course of the program, so we'd like you to stay with us. That's from our Orca studio. We'll also be rejoining our Abuja studio where Chuka is standing by. But in the meantime, let's come back to the studio now. Let me come to Mr. Fatunke. Now, you've heard from one who is in the southeastern part of Nigeria, filling us in on the feelings of the people, the thoughts of the people. Shouldn't the federal government be thinking of laundering its own image if a section of its people sees it as one who is perpetrating some sort of insecurity in the region, whether that's true or not? Shouldn't the government be thinking in the line of laundering that image and winning the trust of the people? Should that be a concern?
Pirouetting, swinging on the same spot, and trying to justify from perhaps the regional. Who says to anybody that in the Southwest we are all smiling and that we are not feeling the pains?
Feeling what pains, if I may ask?
Okay, now, somebody from the Southeast has spoken, someone from Arewa has spoken. Are we saying in the Southwest we are on a bed of roses? Yes, of course. The policies.
But we've heard from some people in the Southwest where they've said, look, they will vote for the president going forward.
I'm happy you said some people in the Southwest.
Well, we've also heard from some people. These are some people in the Southeast and North as well.
When we started this program, Arewa consultative,
yes,
is not the whole of the North.
So some people.
Okay, some people.
Exactly.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. So I'm saying it spreads across all over. It is your depth of understanding of the pain you have to get before you get a pain, and your depth of understanding of the ruts we are in. Example. Yes, Bola Tinubu's administration came in and said subsidy is gone. Really and effectively, subsidy was gone legislatively before he took over. Now, since that is gone, yes, my dear brother is so correct that the thing is come back. It's only a leader who is going to be rigid that will say, look, I'm going to continue to face that we've had a bit of tinkering. But a lot of money has gone to some national governments. It is only people who choose to want to look at a one-sided narrative that they say, hey, wait a minute, that is gone. Secondly, also attempt to try and bring in social investment programs. Again, all mad in controversies and corruption. That is not going to be one man that you are going to be looking at. So the Arewa consultative guy made a statement. For me, I would just say this. We are different in different respects. I affirm and reaffirm that all the politics, see, look, what is constant is the fact that we have a country to build. We are not sure we are all looking at the same country as patriotic country.
I hate to interrupt you. I hate to interrupt you.
No. What happens at the end of the day?
There are a few thoughts.
I will land here.
Okay.
That if leaders come from different aspects, then you see some relative quiet.
Okay.
Is the reason why I said.
Okay.
Democracy is a game of numbers. So
like I said, I hate to interrupt you, but there are a lot of thoughts, and we're trying to get answers for the listener here.
Yes.
We might know a few things, but it's not about us now, it's about educating the people. And the question I asked was, shouldn't this administration, seeing that there is a perception in some parts of the country about its way of handling insecurity in that region, shouldn't this administration be thinking of laundering that image, fixing that impression in that part of the country? Shouldn't this administration...
In that part of the country or the whole country?
Well, what we just heard, the focus now is in a part of the country.
Okay.
I don't want to, spread the net.
All right. Sorry, Mr. Akebi.
Please. Let him respond to the question.
I know he will respond.
He has already responded.
Let him respond again.
I know.
I don't want us to lose something. There's something I don't want.
My point is...
Now, the question, you also said something about...
Should it not be laundering? Is he not doing that?
Okay.
Is it effective?
Is it effective?
You are talking about laundering.
Yes.
The president...
Its own image.
Its image, yes. The president has continually come out and said, yes, I know we are feeling the pains, but we must go through these pains for us to be able to.
All right, now you also did say something, I'm sorry, please. You also did say something about building a nation.
Yes.
Now, we've seen a highly placed someone of Nigerian descent in the United Kingdom, and I'm talking about Kemi Badenoch, who has come to say she's not Nigerian, she's only a Yoruba person, basically dissociating herself from the entity Nigeria. And we know that some of the people, now that coming from one who is embedded in politics in that region, doesn't that send a message that even outside the country, the unity of Nigeria is something that is being called to question?
Thank you. So, by Kemi is saying it's her right to say whatever it is that he's saying. I don't need Kemi Badenoch to know that we have inherent problems that this present regime is making an attempt to launder and perhaps to resolve. We have internal crisis. We have crisis of identity even within us. Why, for instance, did Igboho, what was Igboho saying? What was Nnamdi Kanu saying? I don't need Ekemi to tell me that we are fantastically corrupt. We are not just fantastically corrupt, but we must rework the system. What I have a challenge with is for us to now begin to now look at these things from perhaps regional angle, and I have said it clearly. The real crux of the matter is about the presidency of Nigeria. 2027, 2025, Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the presidency of Nigeria because of brickmanship. There was
2023, mean?
2023, excuse me. Okay, 2023.
It's okay.
Through craft brinkmanship. He crept in because there were divisions. Now, so if these people, I keep on saying it, if these people can come together and with one voice, now then say, yes, we are no more going to be divided, so be it. 2027 is going to be on their side.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
Pure and
Okay,
simple.
sorry,
Barrister.
Mr. Aki, sorry, Moses, I wanted to correct something that Mr. Aki said. He said that Bola Tinubu inherited fuel subsidy regime that had run out legislatively.
Yes.
I think that's not quite correct, because he assumed office on May 29, and the budget provision was for June 30th.
Exactly.
So I mean, he had a whole 1 month to do a whole lot.
Oh.
Look at we borrowed 2.2 billion naira before the end of this financial year.
A whole 1 month
To do a lot.
So if you are a manager,
No, I wanted to put out that information that it hadn't actually ended.
that's the
fact of the matter.
As far as I'm concerned, as a manager, I will not wait till end of June for me to begin to do what I need to do now. That is where we are different. There is a management of change. The point now is I'm not going to wait till the end of June before I then say subsidy. So if I wait at the end of June, then we are not going to be...
Mr. Akin, that is not an argument. Factually, it had not ended. That's the fact I want us to put out to the public.
Okay, it's not ended. I agree with you, it's not ended, but I'm not going to wait as a manager.
Exactly.
I will not wait to wait as a manager until something comes to hit me.
All right.
I will plan
Recall also
proactively ahead for it.
The same thing that you couldn't wait up until June for you to work on to make sure that the whole thing worked very well. It's the same free subsidy removal that was held. There was a riot, a protest, if I'm to use that word, a protest that was held in 2012 for it not to be removed. Now, mute to you, Barrister Darlington Agumo. Yeah. The present administration now made Nigerians to understand that we need to buckle up a bit, saying that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And not just that, also, Nigerians should try to, get the tough skins so that they'll be able to withstand whatever policy that is coming. They've told us that it is going to yield result, but, it's going to be a gradual thing. Now, my question is, with the way things are going, we also heard from Enina Baribe that the new presidential jet that was bought was not part of the National Assembly. It didn't even get to National Assembly for that vehicle. That plane was bought now. Is the politicians, Nigerian politicians, are they also buckling up? I'm talking about the executive now. Are they buckling up in any way for us now to emulate from them on how to brace up for all of these policies to start working? And if that is not what they are doing, then how then do they expect us to have hope for that?
That is it. Because the man at the top, when you are talking of a presidential system of government, every policy, every development, every action resolves around that presidency. It is what comes out from there that other people emulate. That is why it is called presidential system of government. When people are blaming the state and the other Nigerians, they are looking at what is going on in Abuja. If you truly want to reform, there are things Tinubu have done that made me to believe that he's not reforming anything. A man who wants to reform, he will not go through that route.
Can you specify some of those things?
Yes. One, this jet he bought, there was no need for it. There are other countries that are even borrowing us money. Their prime minister and their president, they don't have a private presidential jet or the use of for the use of the government. They don't.
Okay.
Because of the cost. They are cutting cost. There are other profligacy that he has engaged himself in that we even wonder, what is the meaning of all this wastage? Like traveling all over the place. Yet no return. If you're a marketer, and you are saying every day the management will give you money, after going around 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, no return. When the management asks you, come, all this money you are wasting, what is the result? That's what you have been doing over the years. And we are asking questions, what is the impact of all this that you are saying you are going to do that? Okay, sit down at home. Start working at things that God has already blessed us for God's sake.
All right then.
God has given us things. What is Tinubu doing with all the mineral resources, all the natural resources that God has given us?
All right then.
He has not done anything about it. So why should I not sit down here and say that he's bringing in? He's depending on how much money he will get from abroad. Who told you that the foreigners will come and develop your economy? Who told you? Did you develop their own? That is the thing that I say, no, I don't believe in this thing. Let him sit down and look. We have everything to develop Nigeria.
Right,
Tinubu is not looking in that direction at all. He's not looking at that direction.
All right, this is where we have to.
He don't belong like easy money from abroad.
This is where we would have to drop the anchor on this conversation, but we'll take your concluding thoughts at the end of the program, so you can keep that thought somewhere when we get to that time. we'll have you, give us your concluding thoughts as well. But let's dive into the next conversation now. The federal government says it's achieved breakthrough in terrorism campaign with the sentencing of about 200 people alleged to have 200 terrorists, actually. Well, let's talk about this and X-ray the impact of this decision on the insecurity bedeviling parts of the country.
All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is VOP This Morning on Voice of the People Television. Now, the federal government of Nigeria has secured a significant win in its fight against terrorism, including Boko Haram and banditry. Over 200 terrorists were prosecuted and convicted during the first 6 terrorism trial at the Kanji detention facility from December 9 to 13, 2024. Now, the highlights of the trial and convictions go as follows. 237 cases were heard, and convictions ranged from 20 to 70 years imprisonment, life sentences, and death penalty, depending on the severity of the crime. Maximum penalties, we had severe punishment for heinous offenses, such as the abduction of women and children during attacks on Borno State. Trials presided over by 5 High Court judges adhering to international justice standards. That's the trials were presided over by 5 federal High Court judges, and they adhered to international justice standards. Now, in previous trials, we had phase 5 in July 2024, which saw 143 cases, resulting in 125 convictions. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has enhanced the capacity of judiciary, military, police, and intelligence agencies. This initiative reflects Nigeria's commitment to global best practices in prosecuting terrorism-related cases and aims to restore peace and justice. Also, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has confirmed that over 200 Boko Haram members have surrendered in the past 6 months. Oh, well, we still have in the studio here 2 gentlemen, Barrister Darlington Agomo, who is a political analyst, and Mr. Akin Fatuke, communications consultant. And we still have virtually our correspondents at Oka and Abuja. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us on this show.
Thank you.
Barrister Darlington, you are a lawyer. I want you to help us make sense of this. I mean, convictions. People have been convicted after due process of trial. They say 5 High Court judges were involved in the trial. Now, my worry is this. We also have a set of people who said we have repented, and they were pardoned, they were given amnesty and reintegrated into some commanding heights of our national life, like the military, immigration, customs, and all of that. Now, my question is this. In our jurisprudence, or in global jurisprudence, is there a provision for a criminal who repents and surrenders himself and one that was captured by the law? Are there different punishments for these sets of people? Because it's kind of confusing. You know, people walk out to say, I have repented. You integrate the person and you capture another person that committed the same offense, and you met out different justices. Help us understand, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Okoro. This particular issue, it has been overflowed. I've discussed it here severally. But let me ask you a question. When you enter plea bargain in a court for criminal infraction, please, that plea bargain, does it exonerate you from going to serve a sentence?
Barrister Darlington, you're a lawyer. That's why we're asking. That's what we're asking.
I'm coming. I want to tell you that this fight against terrorism, the way it sounds, if I say it the way I feel like, you may not like me. Seriously. Because I feel that these people are playing pranks with us.
Why do you feel so? Why do you feel so?
Because listen very well, Moses. How many years have we been telling the federal government? The list they gave you as people who are sponsoring this terrorism, what is wrong with it? What is keeping that list? Who is hiding it, for God's sake? Is that not the source of this terrorism? Because somebody have to buy arms for the terrorists. Because looking at them, none of them can afford to buy catapult. Not to talk of AK-47. Somebody is supplying this into them. Somebody is bringing them into this country. All this is cost money. Somebody is feeding them.
But they have their ransom that they collect from people.
Hold on.
Barrister Darlington, basically, please, before you travel very far, let us understand first. A criminal that surrendered oneself and one that was captured, are there different punishments for them in our law books, in our statute books?
Fine. The one that you captured, who surrendered, before he has committed some serious crime against humanity, he can serve his sentence. The other one that have killed people, it is life for life.
No, but you don't get the point.
What we're saying is this: these individuals have been known to have committed crime. They have attacked, they have sacked people from their towns.
Exactly.
They have committed crime. But at some point, the Nigerian military overpowered some, and they waved the white flag. And they were taken in. They dropped their weapons and they were arrested. Should there be a different judgment from those who were overpowered during a gun duel, who were, a gun duel, they were overpowered and captured? Should there be different judgments?
As long as they are terrorists, Moses, they should go through the law.
Okay.
As long as they are terrorists, they are confirmed terrorists. This selectivity is what I don't like.
So surrendering doesn't play any part.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yes, because this is a crime against humanity. It doesn't. The law is there. We have Anti-Terrorism Act now. Go through it. Go and see what is there. There is no middle ground here. But because of the way the federal government is handling this matter, that is why this thing has continued to escalate. We are giving them, we are treating them with kid gloves. That's why they are coming in droves. They are coming in because they have seen a fertile ground.
All right.
In other climb, Mr. Okoro, please, can they give you a day to live? In other climb, somebody should tell me, as long as you have confirmed to be a terrorist, there is no middle ground.
All right, then.
But here, we pamper them. And apart from that, Moses, it is selective. Go and check the people they pardon. Who are they?
All right, Barrister.
Where did they come from?
Barrister, thank
it's very important because that is the only way you can find this in. As long as the federal government have not brought out that list to prosecute those sponsoring this terrorism, count me out. I don't believe in what they are doing.
All right.
They are not serious about it. They are not serious.
Now let me come to Mr. Fatunke now. There's a lot of disbelief on the part of the people when it comes to the activities of the government. Should Nigerians be jubilant that certain individuals who have done crime, who have killed people, who have taken out terrorist activities on the people, have been sentenced? Seeing, like what the barrister did point out, it's at a certain time, list of those that are sponsoring and partaking in these activities were presented to the federal government, but nothing was seen to have been done to those ones. And we've also seen in the past, in fact, if you know those within the theaters of the conflict themselves, they will tell you that when they arrest, either through overpowering any of these terrorists, when they arrest them, they are told not to kill them. Exactly. They are told to hand them over, and then they are handed over to another authority, and then we hear that they are being pardoned, and they're being taken back put back into the society. So would you blame Nigerians for not believing that this might be staged?
It's possible that the stage has been on for ages. We have marginally improved comparatively. And I'm going to start on a very positive note and doff my hat to our military. They have done the best within the ambit of trying to be straight in a rough jacket. One of the things they need to be hearing from the likes of me, I mean, I'm different from others, is kudos.
I'm equally different from others.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. You know, and please keep at it. While those of us at the barricades continue and continually try our best to make sure that our governments at all levels, do the right thing. It is also a kudos to the present government that terrorism financing, I agree with Barrister, and that is where I also start, that we need to go and uproot this from the root. Why are we still keeping, allegedly keeping them? One thing led to Binance at one point in time being put in for, we should also commend, because things would have gone haywire. This government, coming in a quagmire, decided that they were going to do the anti-terrorism, and a bill was supposed to go to the National Assembly. Nigerians, like quite a number of policies that have been set out, said, no, you cannot do that. What have you? I also know that it's a very difficult terrain. Just about yesterday, I was reading, and I saw it. Locals who were informants to these terrorists. So Nigerian military wants to go in, as they are coming, and all that. So they are all being hemmed at different angles. Do we therefore say that we should have trust, especially when you say it is morning, suddenly you say it is evening, or the military wants to go and then do something similar to what my brother is saying here? You go to bomb, you make a mistake, and then you take them to Amnesty International. It is a landmine that we must collectively, and going to the root of that collectivity still comes back to my point.
Should we be applauding?
We must recognize the fact that we must go a bit loose. When I say a bit loose in our governance system, the democracy we are operating, say, and looking at the center all of the time, it's not going to work.
No, Mr. Akinfetinke, a quick one before I will move to Barrister Darlington.
Yeah.
Some Nigerians, especially those who happen to reside where there's whole insecurity, especially the Boko Haram insurgent thing began, they are not really, happy, if I'm to use that word, given the fact that we have seen the people who have caused harm, people that have been, that have caused killing or that have caused the loss of a loved one and all that, destruction of property, being reintegrated back into the society in the name of de-radicalization and rehabilitation program. And then the military, like you just said, some of the locals do tip the people who are perpetrating the act when the military are coming in. Now, isn't it more like bringing in people who, under the word they call them, printed Boko Haram members, bringing them back into the society to cause more harm by giving up or telling the military or telling the people that the military are coming in? Because this is what some people have faulted. They have said there should not be any room for de-radicalization or rehabilitation program in this regard.
If you understand the kinetic strategy method, Nigeria started by one bam, 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 and people are saying do carrot and stick. We have tried the carrot and stick. We have now found out, like you said, the real crux of the matter is that the locals do not believe that the Nigerian army will come and liberate them. Because they don't believe the Nigerian army is going to liberate them, they prefer. And part of the kinetic is that, if you have taken our people, you better find a way to release them so that at least we can reach a kind of a truce. Again, like you said, and like I've acknowledged, both, it is still not working. I am saying, therefore, when you try different things, what exactly are the people asking for?
Okay.
They are asking that, look, let them go loosely in their way. And Nigeria should not. In the southeast, the same. In the southwest, the same. So we should collectively face it squarely that even if you bring an angel, the angel is going to be seen as a kind of devil.
Okay.
That is my position.
Mr. Aki, we need to bring in our correspondents. But before we leave now, let's digress a little bit. You said something about Binance, how the federal government treated the Binance case. Now, Binance was here, and federal government said, look, Binance is the problem. At a point, they said it was Aboki FX.
Monetary finance.
At a point, they said it was BDC. The federal government has blamed every other person except themselves. Now, does it look like because Naira is still getting the bashing from all corners, does it look like the federal government, CBN in particular, the governor, that doesn't know what is doing or he doesn't understand the problem? Does it look like?
I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
I've just mentioned Binance. Binance is one out of a million saboteurs that are saboteurs.
No, that's what I'm saying. The saboteurs, they were trying to rein them in. Aboki FX first, BDC is second, and all of
why were they released?
Saboteuring the Nigerian state.
Okay.
And I am saying, from what you read, this convention, we either believe it or don't believe it.
No, we're not talking about conviction now. That's
I've given the leeway that let's take it that it is true. I commend government to that extent.
Okay.
What we are going to do,
I'm sorry.
thereafter will not be.
I'm sorry. Let me come to the barrister on this one now. Barrister, once again, I ask you the question. I think I posed this question to Mr. Fatunke earlier. Should Nigerians believe this government? Now, seeing, before you respond, seeing what happened to about over 70 individuals who were taken to court at some point. Nigerians didn't know the state of those that were arrested for the NBAD governance protest until Nigerians saw them in court and, you know, got to know that they looked like teenagers, even though we were told that some of them are married and some of them, you know. But should Nigerians consider that and say, look, we want to see these people. Let's know if these are the terrorists or if these are individuals who have been on death row already. And what are your thoughts, Barrister?
Exactly. That is my problem. In this type of situation, you don't need to, you don't have to bring them and shame them. Call them out. Yes, because they have committed a crime against humanity. Why are you hiding them? As if they are some sacred god. Look at Simon Ekpa in Finland. They have even frozen his account, all his businesses. Why didn't they pamper him? Why didn't they cover him? And start making it whooshy-whooshy, as if you don't need to talk about them. That's what the federal government have been doing with these people now. Every time we have convicted and sentenced 200, we are convicted and sentenced 500, yet you can't see one of them. Moses, you can't see, even this one that think they have killed their kid. Have you seen any of them? Rather, when they go to a village and clear the whole, you see carcasses. You will see dead bodies all over the place. Their handwork. You can see their handwork, but you can never see their punishment. How does it sound to you? So, are you not telling me that I should believe what they are saying when I have not been convinced? No conviction here. At least when you are doing something, yes, let people know that yes, you are doing something. Even it will even put fear in their fellows, in their fellow travelers. That look, they have finished our people. Let us go back. The federal government has never done that. Rather, they keep covering them, and that's why these people. I said it here. That is why the Lakaro was what they call Lakuruas. That's why they find the liver to come inside here, because we are already battling with some. Moses, to make matters worse, because look, whenever you want to discuss a problem, please start from the root. How did these terrorists come into Nigeria? Please, are you telling me that the people that brought them here, they would want you to deal with them? They were here for a purpose, and that purpose has not been achieved. That's why they keep pampering them until they achieve that purpose. So let nobody be deceived. If they really mean it, I know what they're supposed to do, and they know what they're supposed to do. No terror. Look, terrorist is not a friend of the society. So for the federal government to be pampering them, then there is something to it. And I want you and I to ask that question: why is the federal government pampering the terrorists? With all the things they said with their own mouth here, nobody even you didn't consider it as a problem. When Sheikh Gumi will tell me when I'm going into the bush to go and see my boys, that the federal government used to give him backing. He will go there, eat with them, discuss with them, and then he will come back. And he even warned us. He warned us that nobody should talk to his boys, so bandits. And you are telling me that the federal government is fighting terrorism?
So are you saying that the 129,417 Boko Haram terrorists and their family members that, according to the CDS, have repented and surrendered themselves now, we should be wary of that? Is that what you're saying, Barrister Darling?
If you should not be worried, then what else will make you to be worried? People that have this, we are not here when the ability told you that the people that they rehabilitated, some of them ran away with the gun they gave them. Did we not discuss it here?
Should we even have that radicalization and rehabilitation thing? Given the fact that it's supposed to take a whole while for someone whose ideology is centered on something different for you to de-radicalize the person. Should we have that clause?
Fina, if not for tribal and religious sentiment, we shouldn't be going through that route. America doesn't do that. They don't. As long as you're a terrorist, look, they don't pity you. Nobody rehabilitate any terrorists outside there. It's only in Nigeria. You rehabilitate terrorists.
Barrister Darlington, please, I'd like to, because this is a discourse.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
You have made a statement here that they are being shielded.
Is it not a fact?
I want to make a point.
Okay.
And quite right, yes. Right from the time of Abacha, we all know that the hands of people out there at the top are involved. There's no doubt about that.
Then let's call them out.
However,
and they should stop
if you're asking that we have not called any out, it's not exactly true, because you must have heard about Toji. You also must have heard about the warlord in Benue that was engaged and killed. I also know that in strategic security issues, you may talk about the US, you may talk about Canada and elsewhere. We have not formed in a way that some of those things must be kept under cover. It should not be for too long. I agree with you. But they must also, and Transparency International will come into this and say, look, they should be given a fair hearing. The example that you gave about ELSAs, I also saw a video of these minors that are not married, and they were going to destroy people who are not minors. It's all there. I am not in any way saying that it's one cut fits all. We are trying, albeit very slowly. Now we are looking at the north. We had one during Yaradua's time, when we saw people who have decimated the state were given amnesty. It worked up to a certain stage until the Nigerian thing now started. I come back that when you have tried and tried and tried different angles to a particular problem, and that problem is not being resolved, as we are seeing, even up till now, that attempt to try and correct at all costs is not working, then let's look at our type of governance. Let's take decisions, because no matter who rules at the center, the rest will not support. And that's the point. I mean, it's common sense.
All right, so let's go to please hold your thoughts there.
Remember that they tried it in Ghana, and Ghana stopped them.
Please hold your thoughts.
Okay.
You have enough time to give your thoughts on the program. Let's quickly go to our Abuja studio now, where Chuka is standing by. Chuka, good morning once again. Now, with the sentencing, some 20 years, some 70 years, some life, death sentence meted out to these about 200 terrorists. What is the atmosphere in Abuja at the moment? Is there jubilation? Well, we can't hear you. We'll have to fix the audio there so we can take.
I think it can.
Chuka.
It can unmute.
Yes. So Chuka, let's have you. Let's quickly fix that and take your response. I do believe that that has been fixed. So yes, go ahead. All right then. Well, we have a little bit of a problem there. Audio quality of Chuka in Abuja there. Let's go to Oka Studio, Barrister. Yes, let's go to Oka Studio where Ndo Okwaleze is standing by. Ndo, welcome to the conversation once again. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Chuka. People jubilant? Do the Southeasterners think that justice also might be served, as it seems that justice has been served to those perpetrating insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria? Do they think that those instigating insecurity in the eastern part of Nigeria might also have their own day in court and justice served?
I didn't quite get the beginning of the question.
Pardon?
There was a break in transmission. I didn't get your question.
Oh, okay. The question is, with this judgment that the federal government has secured against over 200 terrorists, some of them have received 20 years in prison, some of them 70, some life, and some death sentencing based on the enormity of their crime. And Southeasterners, are they expectant that those that are perpetrating insecurity in the Southeast also will be brought to book at some point?
What is expected. But the only thing is that people don't actually see that happening. If it's a question of he has been acquitted, but he has not been released. So if to believe in the justice system of the country, we need to see when things happen like that, is executed. If he sets free, he should go free indeed. That's the way people look at it, this side. And the issue of others, yes, if you take people to let them follow the due process, when they are brought in as suspects, you try them, not to murder them or kill them at the mere suspicion that they are terrorists or labeling them. So the East will want a situation where people are taking, when you get you suspect, let them go through the normal process.
Okay.
Sip the chaff from the wheat and know those who have cases, then prosecute them. When they are free, they are acquitted. When they are found guilty, they should go in for it.
All right.
Not a case of,
quick
killing
one,
people
quick
all
one.
like that.
You are in the Southeast. There's this issue of farmer headers clash, that is another brand of terrorism. But for a while now, we've not heard cases of farmer header clashes in the Southeast. Can you help us understand, is there a toll, is there a decrease or an increase? Looks like there's some kind of peace when you talk about farmer header clash in the Southeast. Can you help us walk through that in a few seconds? What's going on?
Yes, it has a kind of gone down drastically.
Okay.
Unlike in the previous administration under President Buhari, it was so rampant. But this time around, most of the farmers they are beginning to take possession of their farms.
All right, then, well, I guess that's how far that's how much we can take from our Awka and Abuja studios. But do expect more contributions from these studios in days to come. All right, and be aware that we're establishing studios around Nigeria so we can truly capture the voices of the people. All right, now let's take our concluding thoughts now as we will be taking some messages. We did ask that you can send your messages in, and we promised to take your messages, so we will take your comments and reactions to the conversation this morning. Barrister, let me start off with you. Your concluding thoughts. You can merge both conversations.
Yes. You see this thing about terrorism. The day the government will come out clean to the people, we can begin to build trust. So far, I was thinking that Tinubu will be different from Buhari. But it seems not to. I don't know why these terrorists are being pampered. They are being made to look like if they are some sacred cow. I don't know. What is wrong in exposing them? Is it not when you expose them, you shame them? They told you that we are talking about, have he been captured? He's even from Nigeria. That man was so bold to capture our APC. Has he been captured? The answer is no. He's the one dictating peace, telling us what to do and what not to do. So what I'm saying is that they should be frontal against the terrorists. It's as simple as that. About the North, look, I don't have sympathy for them. Because look at it yourself. You see, most of the people, they just want me to be angry. So if the North is complaining and the West are complaining, what did they not tell the East, who have not enjoyed this privilege for a long time? What are they not telling me? Do they know better than me? Do they govern better than me? So if they are doing better, why is Nigeria like this? The North have governed. We didn't get anywhere. The South now, people are crying. So the South is that have not said a word. And you people are packed on one side. What are you expecting me to do now, since you are complaining that Tinubu did not favor you? You have been there for over 50 years out of our 64 years of independence. And you are complaining. So what do you want me to do? Do you know better than me, Yerima? Do you know? I know when you were in Mafoluku here. Hustling. All of a sudden, you are now spokesman for the Arewa Youth, consultative, whatever. It's not fair. Whether they like it or not, until we come out and treat everybody equally, my dear, we are not going anywhere. It's as simple as that. Let us not deceive ourselves.
All right, then.
All these people that depend on the federal government, that's why I've been telling you, Moses, listen to me when I'm talking to you. I've been telling you that if other tribe in Nigeria were to behave like Igbo man, this place will be paradise. The Southwest and the North, they depend on federal government.
All right, then.
Whenever they leave power for one day, you look at the heaven will fall. But the East have been there quietly, doing their business quietly. Yes. Whenever the people leave office, they start disturbing everybody.
I feel your passion, Barrister Darlington. And yes, we are listening. I am listening to you, Barrister. Thank you very much for expressing yourself this way. Mr. Fatuke, please, let's have your concluding thoughts.
I'm happy you said he's expressing himself. And he has a right to express himself, but we need to be very careful that we are multi-ethnic, we are multicultural. Yes, I'm careful. I am not going to profile, and I'm not going to be speaking about Igbo man, Yoruba man, and I'm not going to be speaking about the Hausa man. That trust is gone off the roof. No doubt about that. We need to rebuild that trust. And if we cannot succeed in rebuilding that trust, my point is simple. Let's go our different ways. Let's look for different ways of looking at our governance structure. Let's remember, like Santayana, if they came for the priests, they came for the labor union, they came for others, and you think they will not come from you when you get in there, you might just be deceiving ourselves.
All right.
It may be too little. It's not too late, and I commend the government for trying to do what they are doing, but they need to show more examples.
All right, then, thank you very much.
They need to be much more focused, and they need to be much more inclusive.
All right, then, thank you very much. Now, let's take some responses. Let's have a...
All right, from YouTube, our YouTube platform, we have this that says, please, Nnamdi Kanu told you people that Nigeria has been marked for... Okay, I won't continue with that. If you want to send us a message, try as much as you can to be civil, when dropping your comments on the platforms. And Nigeria is a... Okay, Simon Ekpa is blessed even when he is already there in incarceration, okay?
Oh, bless him.
That is someone's comments, okay? And then we have another one that say, can we see it in Google or international paper? Make una open your eyes before... okay, that's another Igbo language, okay? And then we have a whole lot of other messages, but we won't be able to take all of that.
All right, then. Chukuma, do you have any?
It's just about God bless Simon Ekpa, God bless Nnamdi Kanu.
And God bless the Southeast.
God bless everybody. God bless Nigeria.
All right, then.
That's all.
Okay.
Not
really.
Somebody wrote that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, then. Well, that's it. That's it on the show. Well, don't forget that you can be part of the conversation every time we come your way. Make good use of the numbers scrolling on your screen. And yes, let us know your thoughts. We must say a very big thank you to our correspondents that joined the conversation. You have them on your screen there. Chukudili from Abuja studio and Ndu Opaleze from Oka studio. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And we've been speaking with Mr. Aki Fatunke, who is a communication consultant and a public affairs commentator and also Barrister Darlington Agumwo, who is, of course, a VOP in-house analyst. I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day. But don't forget, join us again at 9 for Newspaper Review.
And I'm Fina Okichukwu. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I am Chukwu Mokoro. Thanks for being on the show.